Thanks for coming. That one was for you. Man, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming.
I wouldn't miss it for anything. It's really kind of you to invite me.
It was all Penny's idea. You know, when I arrived here in 2016, I was a frightened 17-year-old who couldn't speak any English. You must remember that.
Oh, I do. You were reluctant to talk. But what I remember the most, the social worker telling me, he pointed to the ground and said, England. And when the interpreter confirmed that, you smiled a little. And after the initial statutory health assessment, you thanked me through the interpreter and said, I want to become a doctor. I never imagined 10 years later.
Well, it was good to meet a doctor who understood my problems. Understood that I was not ready to talk about them. You interpreted the physical signs and realized that, despite my denials, I had been tortured.
You've come a long way.
You might have made it here, but I know from your letters you still bear the scars. And undoubtedly, it's going to take a long time for you to work through.
You know, many of my friends never made it. Some were raped. Others were imprisoned for no reason. There was not enough medical supplies to go around to all that needed help. I'm going to the gents. When I come back, we'll go, shall we?
You know, it must have been hard for him. Months without regular food, days without even water.
I'm sorry, it's supposed to be a happy occasion.
It's not your fault whenever something triggers him off. He becomes overcome with emotion. Only the other day we walked past a boating lake and he started to recall how it was so packed it was hard to breathe.
Often the mental scars remain long after the physical ones heal.
Shall we go?
I was just explaining to him how we'll be sat next to Auntie Paula and they should have a lot in common.
They make a smashing couple.
Penny explained that you were the doctor that first examined Geedy.
Oh, she did she? She told me a little bit about you too, Doctor.
Oh, Paula, please. It was lovely he kept in touch with you.
You know, they were stressful times. So many unaccompanied asylum-seeking children. Geddy's a prime example of why we do what we do.
Very true.
You're in mental health?
I am, yes. I must admit, I'm very intrigued with how you coped back then. I assume many of the children were traumatised.
Most definitely. There was a study of just over 150 young asylum seekers in Kent at the time that showed psychological symptoms reported in 41% of the children.
41%?
And post-traumatic stress disorder in 16%, and many more had sleep problems.
And of course, culturally, there would have been a reluctance to admit to mental illness.
That's right. And often it would present itself as physical complaints.
Headaches, back pain. And I assume the stigma attached to mental health was even worse back then.
Precisely. Many asylum-seeking children and young people would say they were fine, and that they didn't want to speak to anybody about mental health. Often just the relief of arriving in the UK would mean that their symptoms wouldn't surface for many months.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the bride and groom.
I take it wasn't just health and used a multi-agency approach.
They needed support in housing, education, social and cultural activities just to get a sense of belonging.
Must have been so challenging.
Some needed specialist help.
That's understandable. I assume high in importance for them was their asylum claim.
That was their greatest worry.
I hope you you two aren't talking about work at my wedding.
I was going to ask earlier, before we interrupted on our wonderful niece and dinner, and because I'm curious, were they physically well on their ride?
Yes, surprisingly well, considering the main issues were dental disease and dermatology.
Dental disease?
Yes, 46% had dental disease and 17% had dermatology health-related issues. And nearly all of them had scabies, and some were found to be anemic.
I assume that's because of malnutrition.
Probably, but we had to consider other conditions like sickle cell disease and thalassemia.
Fascinating.
And although the children never raised any concerns regarding their vision because they'd never been tested, when we had tested them, we found that in over a third, their vision had decreased.
Treatable?
Their symptoms were treatable in the community.
And what about infectious diseases?
We had malaria and other acute infections. In Kent, we were concerned about the risk of tuberculosis. And so we were advised to screen for them all.
And presumably you screened for other infectious diseases?
Yes, it was recommended that we screen for HIV and hepatitis B and hepatitis C and syphilis, and we started them on the UK catch-up immunisation programme.
I assume because of the lack of healthcare facilities in their countries of origin that some of them may have had undiagnosed chronic conditions like diabetes and kidney disease?
Yes, that was something we had to look out for. I guess we better go back in, otherwise we'll miss the speeches.
Ladies and gentlemen, the groom.
I came on a journey from a land ravaged by war. I was frightened, cold, hungry, and tired. I was looking for safety, shelter, and for love. See, I'd lost everything. My family, my friends, and my education had been deeply disrupted. My health was suffering, both mentally and physically. And indeed, I realized this once the initial realization of actually arriving in England had declined. There was an uncertainty, social isolation, cultural shock. And man, was it a shock. I faced some racism. You see, I was poor, very poor. I felt like I had no choice. I had lost control. But despite all of this, I met some truly great professionals. Doctors, nurses, medical workers, social workers, teachers, and many of you who are here today. You helped me overcome social isolation. You supported my education and my health, and made me the man that I am today. And so I thank you. I thank you because if it was not for you, I would not have entered the medical profession, and I would have never met my gorgeous wife. And so it is traditional, so I've been taught. I now have a long list of people to thank for this wonderful occasion.